people people would be really ticked off.
I mean, seriously, it is possible.
The religion of the flying spaghetti monster would be fine.
Exactly. Now, getting back to the treaty, and I'm still trying to remember the name of this treaty, but when he signed the treaty, if you notice, fiber optics came out, and you always have the argument, well, humankind is smart enough to come up with this stuff, and I agree. But if you look at the time jump, all the technological advances that happened with a very short time period, cell phones, computers, internet, fiber optics, all jumped quickly. Now, Trippin is asking, what does the stock market have to do with 75% of the world that doesn't have anything to do with it? So, the stock market is indirectly affected globally. There's so many companies aren't in America. So the stock market would still be affected, I think. Just my opinion.
Well, and I got to ask, what does he mean by 75% of the world doesn't have anything to do with it? Trip, can you explain that a little bit more, please? Because, like, the stock market affects every business in America, Canada, and our trading countries. So therefore, it does affect almost every single person in the world that goes to a store. If the stock market falls, the price of bread alone goes up. Every price goes up. Because there is an immediate shortage of everything.
Yeah, and Trippin's also saying, people are leaving churches more now than ever before. Recent natural disasters opened their eyes. And I would agree with that. I think, and I'm not going to get into politics. I already have a migraine. I don't need to discuss politics as well right now.
I have nothing to say.
Right. And so Trippin is saying poor people don't have stock. And again, agreed. But if the stock market crashes, you are still going to see everything in the economy go up. As far as bread prices, milk prices,
oil and gas.
Yeah.
That is a huge one that will go up, and that will affect everyone. I'm sorry, that is a big one that affects every single price in any market.
And Nikki's in the chat room. Has anyone else noticed that a majority of sci-fi movies are based on real things? And yeah, we discussed that an hour ago. And I totally agree. They do. Sci-fi movies, even horror movies to an extent, and TV shows.
Okay, I found the name of the treaty that Eisenhower supposedly signed with the aliens in 1954. It was called the Greada Treaty.
There you go.
It was called
Greada Treaty.
It's spelled Greada, Greada.
And it can be found all over the internet.
Was it with the Autobots or the Decepticons?
No.
No.
But it is referenced. And that's what I like about Transformers. The Transformers actually hit on a lot of key points.
Transformers?
Yep.
Absolutely.
You're killing me.
No,
it's so in the newest ones that they're doing, the Last Night was the last one that they just had done a while ago, and they used the Knights Templar as an order, and the Order of Camelot as well.
I thought
they used our own human history that was really done well.
Yeah, I found that intriguing.
Yeah.
And
like,
you know,
it was done very well that at our own organizations from our past hid these aliens from the public for that many years and protected their identity.
Yeah, I didn't see that one tied into National Treasure. They hid that one there.
It was probably in a hieroglyph.
Well, hey, the kids hid E.T.
Oh, speaking of hieroglyphs, there's a lot of UFOs and aliens and hieroglyphs.
Uh-huh.
And that takes me back to God being an alien in the first place.
So I suggest any new listeners, if you're interested in that kind of stuff, look up Zechariah Sitchin, get his books. Eric von Daniken, I like his books, and Jacques Vallée. I think those are the three favorite authors of mine that go into the ancient alien theories.
I agree. I think they're ancient, all right. I do. I think there's something to that. Wouldn't that go with the Stonehenge and all that too?
To an extent, you know, you look at the Sphinx, you look at the pyramids. There's pyramids around this whole planet that are all pretty much the same built. You got them in Mexico. You got them in the Mayan culture. You've got them under the ocean. You've got them. You know, I think we even have one here in the United States.
And doesn't that have something to do with pointing towards space or something, or some kind of like a portal or something?
Michael, you got to answer that one, Michael.
Well, yeah, you know, the Great Pyramid at Giza and the pyramids around it there have always been related to the Orion constellation. Basically, the Orion's belt, you know, configuration of stars is reflected in the placing of those pyramids in the on the Giza Plateau, supposedly, and they can relate it back to the exact formation that Orion's belt looked like back when supposedly the pyramids were created thousands of years ago. And that's kind of why they figured that there was some kind of connection with Orion or the Orion constellation, and either the makers of the pyramid or they were basically connecting somehow with the Orion constellation in making those pyramids themselves. So there's lots of different theories of these pyramids being power plants somehow, being beacons, and, those kinds of things.
I have a theory on that. I think they're like ancient road maps.
There you go.
Pyramids, Stonehenge. I think they're the original crop circles.
Are they real?
Yes.
Crop circles? Very much so.
But I believe that they eventually just figured out that doing it to crops is a lot easier than doing it to a freaking pyramid.
Yeah, but see, all those things are, you know, when you sit there and watch, you know, any of the shows about how they're built or what their meanings are and stuff, that is so far advanced. I mean, there has to be something to them. I mean, it just doesn't make sense that, you know, somebody's going to build a pyramid just simply to house a dead king. You know, I mean, they talk about the afterlife, and it's aligned with, you know, certain stars and this, that, and the other thing. It's got to be some kind of map. You know, it's got to point to somewhere.
You look at how far the Incas had come. Like, their technological advances were astronomical.
You know, I was just recently watching a documentary, too, where they actually said there were no tombs. There were no bodies in the pyramids. You know, as much as they say, oh, this is the tomb of Amun Rock, or name your pharaoh, but there were there were no bodies in these pyramids, so that kind of throws that one out the window.
Yeah, that's what I said. I think they were made for something else. I mean, just to bury somebody, and then, like you said, if there's no bodies in them, that just kind of furthers it.
Transformers.
They're kind of, but that's the thing. Are we sure there was no bodies in that pyramid?
That's what some scientists are saying.
Yeah, but that's what I'm asking, Eric. Maybe there was just no human ones.
Well,
there you go.
What if it's not a tomb for a human, but a tomb for what we believe was a god at that point?
And that's very possible.
An actual god?
A deity.
Yeah. So like Ra.
Yeah. And that's very possible. But you would still, even if you're talking deity, you're talking soul matrix, so there'd still be remains.
Are we sure? We can't possibly know that.
Well, we
don't know what happens to an alien when it dies.
I thought they had one in Area 51.
No, they have several Area 51 in theory. Vinegar.
It's preserved.
So yeah, there are several races that are supposed to be at Area 51, specifically in S-4, which is what the show is named after.
Dead or non-dead?
Both.
Both.
Yep. And that depends. That depends on who you listen to and who you follow. You got different stories, and kind of take it with a grain of salt and do some research.
I do have to say, I hope they're not keeping one of the Predator ones.
I was just going to say, I feel sorry for the alien if we have them in captivity, because we are not equipped to handle something like that. Now, them, on the other hand, abducting us, them being superior beings and all, that would make sense. But I can't imagine what the poor fellas are sitting there doing, like, say, in Area 51 with our government people checking them out. I'm not feeling that.
So we have Nikki in the chat room. She agrees that they're landmarks on the planet for ETs, and yeah, I would agree with that. I can't, and I'm sitting here trying to remember, but again, I've got a migraine, so it's hard to think. Tripp is also saying there was a boat found buried outside one of the pyramids.
That's Noah's.
Noah? Well, that's Mount Ararat.
He got lost.
On top of a pyramid. Oh. So, okay, moving to a different topic, because I want to hear what you got to say about Northern State, Jamie.
Oh, Northern State. I've been up there, and it's really a strange place, because a lot of the buildings are gone, for one, but when I went up there, it was in the 80s, and I went there with my grandmother. My grandmother graduated nursing school there back in 1932, and she worked in the men's D ward for the criminally insane. And we went up there. Job Corps, I don't believe, had been put in there yet or anything at the time, but we went out there, and if you look through into the windows of the places, there's still like papers laying on the floor, like chart sheets and stuff, and various pieces of medical equipment. And I didn't see, any apparitions or anything, but you could imagine them. It was so real when you looked inside there. And the only thing wrong with those buildings, it had beautiful oak, like, stairways in it and stuff, and floors, and they were beautiful buildings. And the only thing wrong with them was the years after they shut them down, the windows getting broken and stuff like that, and, you know, they kind of went into ruin there. But that place, there's a lot of